What up, everybody? There's a new clip with Omari Hardwick doing an interview with Matt Barnes and Trae Young. And when asked about Ghost's return, he shot it down and had a few things to say about how things ended in the process. This caught the attention of 50 Cent, who then reposted the clip and responded to what Omari said in the captions. So does this mean that Ghost isn't coming back and that he is in fact dead? Or is this just another pump fake that we're seeing being played out, gassing up Ghost's return on the final episode of either Book 2 or Force? All we have to do is look at recent history for this answer, because in my opinion, it's just another pump fake in history repeating itself. Even as recently as when they announced Season 4 would be the final season of Power Book 2 Ghost. Michael Rainey Jr. got on social media and started talking bad about stars and everything the same way Omari was in the interview, about the disrespect that they didn't even let the cast know that it would be the final season in advance, that they found out the same time that we did. 50 even got on social media and replied to what Michael Rainey Jr. said, and said that if he would ever answer his phone, then he would have known. Basically saying they was just going to let him know that it was over through a phone call. Almost like when an NBA player gets traded while he's in the layup line just a few minutes before game time. Or when somebody gets traded in the middle of a game. But Michael Rainey Jr., when later asked about this, he said that he was just trolling to gas up the show, a method that he learned from none other than 50 Cent. So like I've said in so many other videos, I take what these characters say with a grain of salt, because they're not going to say too much in an interview because they don't want to spoil the storyline. And in this case, the major shock factor of Ghost returning. And I know they can sound real convincing in the process, but remember, these are professional actors that we're talking about. Hey, and now there's a 2-month break with no Power. What better way to keep people talking about Power than to create a controversy between Omari and 50? And Omari said something in this interview as well that told me not to believe anything he said. When he said, "My checks don't say Power on them anymore." My first thought was, did they ever say Power on them? Or did they say Stars? Because 50 and everybody else's check comes from Stars. And let me ask the question. If they did intend on bringing Ghost back this fall, do you really think Omari would let us know about it in an interview? Do you think he would even be allowed to let us know in an interview? The fact that his tone has changed from Stars wasn't coming with a big enough bag to "my checks don't say Power on them no more" lets us know a deal is probably already done. Not even a year ago, so this should still be fresh in many of y'all's minds right now. Around the end of 2023 on Raising Kanan, Unique got into a fight with Ronnie after Ronnie was stirring up trouble and told Panessa that Unique was hooking up with Rock. Unique then searched all over for Ronnie and found him at the tailor shop waiting on Unique. And after going back and forth for a minute, the two brothers came to blows, with Unique getting the better of Ronnie and walking away, letting him know that he's the big dog now. But unlike Drew when he got beat down by Kane a few episodes ago on Book 2, Ronnie didn't take that L. He grabbed a metal pipe and sucker punched Unique with the pipe and continued to beat him unconscious until Ronnie thought that Unique was dead. He then rolled Unique down into a landfill and left him there thinking he was dead. Right now, as far as we know, all the characters still think that Unique is dead as well. At one point, Howard told Rock that Unique is dead and gone, that they found skull fragments on the pipe. But I promise you, if you're new to this channel or don't remember, I made video on video saying don't go for the pump fake. Unique is still alive. He was just sleeping it off. Even before the episode was released, when the leak clip came out. Then there was the Complex magazine article that came out and confirmed that Unique was indeed dead and not coming back, that the filming conflicted with Joey Badass's tour schedule, and that he was so heartbroken about leaving the show. There was even a TMZ interview that came out with Joey Badass saying the same thing, that Unique is dead and not coming back, and Joey Badass saying in the interview, maybe we could even petition 50 Cent to bring him back. There was even the old picture of Joey Badass with Diddy that started circulating the internet with people saying this is why Unique was killed off Raising Kanan. You know, anything to make it sound like there was some kind of beef. But I kept saying that Unique would return all the way to the final episode when he did. And I'm going to be honest with you. Even if he didn't return on the final episode of season 3, I was prepared to continue saying Unique was still alive anyway, until they said that a body had been found. Because Unique said it best when talking to Marvin, until that body shows up, he ain't dead. And we also know, even if it was said by somebody there was a body, unless they show it on screen, or the kill shot like Rock Top Kanan, 2 to the chest, 1 to the head, there's a chance that the character could still be alive. We found this out at the beginning of Ghost Season 3 when it was reported that Lauren Baldwin had died in a car wreck. Jenny Sullivan put on a very convincing act that Lauren was dead, and we were led to believe that Effie's attempt on her life was successful. But at the end of Season 3, Episode 1, none other than Lauren Baldwin appeared on the screen fine and well. After it was revealed that Lauren was alive, Paige Hurd shared a post on IG from a text message with somebody texting her saying you lied, with her replying, LOL, I had to. And unlike a character like Salim, who was shot in a similar way that Ghost was, who I do believe is dead because the fact that Salim most likely bled out in that house while he was waiting for help, because his parents wouldn't be home for another month. While Ghost, on the other hand, received immediate medical attention. And we could even see the ambulance leaving with Ghost with the lights on, a sign that the person in the ambulance was indeed alive. We saw the ambulance already leaving Truth with Ghost by the time Tariq walked outside. Almost like the ambulance was already there waiting for Ghost in advance. And I continue to hear people say things like, if Ghost survived getting shot, he'd be paralyzed or in a wheelchair because of that fall. But that just isn't true. People fall like that all the time, especially construction workers, and get right up afterwards. From that fall, Ghost would have most likely had a deeply bruised back, which would only take a few weeks at most to recover from. And he would have also probably got a concussion, possibly why he lost consciousness when he was talking to Tommy. Because also keep in mind on Power, when Greg Knox got shot in the Lobos escape, we also hoped he was dead for a minute because he also lost consciousness. Because I've also heard people saying that Ghost losing consciousness was him actually dying in Tommy's arms. Not to even mention the fact that the final episodes was from everybody else's perspective anyway. And another clue that Ghost is actually returning that we can get from this recent interview is the fact that Omari is talking about his so-called former employee, producers, whatever you want to call them, 50 and Courtney Kemp, the people who gave him the job as Ghost in the first place. Omari Hardwick is a smart man, and he would know unless him and 50 were actually on good terms, and he was planning on returning to Power, that saying some things like that could be sabotaging his own career. Because this would cause other producers to simply pump the brakes on giving Omari that next lead role on a movie or a show, because they're going to be like, I don't want to work with this guy because after he might have something to say about me. If you worked at a job for over 6 years and it was the best job you had so far, would you really tell your boss to f off on the way out the door, knowing you're still going to need them for referrals down the line? The grass isn't always greener on the other side anyway. Even after starring in a major TV show like Power. Power might just be as big as it gets for most people. Because as talented as these actors are, there's no guarantee that they will move on to be the next Denzel or Will Smith. I'm one of the few people who actually liked Dre's character in Power. And how he was always able to match Ghost move for move, even evading death. And elevating to the top of the game all the way till the end. But it was said that Rotimi was given the opportunity to get his own spin-off or continue on book 2. I've heard reports about both. But he decided not to continue the story of Andre Coleman, but decided to have him killed off instead. Well, it's been a few years now and we haven't heard much from Rotimi. Then a few weeks ago, he showed up on the season finale of The Chi. in a snake role similar to what he was playing in Power. And personally, I like The Chi and would report on it if it wasn't airing at the same time as Power. But I think we can all admit at the same time, going from Power to The Chi is a downgrade. And with that said, Omari has had time to explore other roles, so I can see it now being time for him to return to the Power universe, the role that was made for him, playing James St. Patrick, aka Ghost. And there you have it. Leave your thoughts, theories, and predictions in the comments.